Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. The Right Group, the right way to buy and sell real estate. Mark Macknick, Chicagoland Tax Professionals. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Game Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network. We come to you tonight from Valparaiso High School. That's the Region Sports Network presents live video coverage of Indiana High School boys basketball as the Red Devils from Lowell take on the Valparaiso Vikings. I'm Andrew Mild of the play-by-play for tonight's action, and we welcome you to the Region Sports Network as we get ready for a pretty tough game, I would say. The Lowell Red Devils, for them, it's been a bit of a sloppy season. They're 4-11, 0-3 in conference play, and they have been the wrong side of 6 different results. As the most recent one was a tough loss against Kankakee Valley, 51-46 in overtime, in which that was a game where the Red Devils were only able to score 3 points in the second quarter. They were able to fight back and score 19 in the fourth to force overtime, but at that point, they're already exhausted, and the Cougars picked up a conference win. And in that game, Spearson and Ezra Ramesek combined they both had 16 points, combined for 32 of that 46. But for Lowell, if they want to be able to win today's game going up against a really good Valparaiso team, they're going to have to find a way to hit the three-pointers. Going 4 for 23 is not going to cut it tonight, and this team is just shooting 25% from behind the arc. And the reason why that's going to be such a large stat to look at going into this game is that Valparaiso's defense has been their calling card their last 2 games. Valparaiso, they were 7-7, sitting right at sea level, and started off 0-2 in the very competitive DAC this year. But in their last 2 wins against South Bend, Washington, and LC, they held the opponents just to around 30 points, as South Bend, Washington only scored 34, LC just 31, and it's coming down to their big guys down low, Maddox Wagner and Corbin McConaughey. Wagner is 6'8", McConaughey is 6'9", and when you watch their replay and the highlights of that game against the Indians, Corbin McConaughey is just clogging up the lane, rejecting shots, getting steals, and because of that, Valparaiso has been able to win despite the fact their offense is not clicking just yet, and they're also very lethal from behind the arc. They shoot 34% from three-point land. About 2.5 minutes until the national anthem and the starting lineup. So let's look at players to highlight for the Valparaiso Vikings. The player to highlight is Maddox Wagner, who's coming in as the leading scorer of the Vikings, averaging over a dozen points with 7 rebounds. He has been a double-double machine this year for the Vikings. And not only is he good scoring from down low, he can also shoot from downtown. So you got to pick your poison with Maddox Wagner. Going to the other side for the Lowell Red Devils, it's been Ezra Ramesek, who is a 6'5 junior, and he's going to have to fight for rebounds as he's the only player in the starting lineup for Lowell that is taller than 6'2". This is a shorter bunch, as when you look at Ramesek, who has 5.2 rebounds, their next leading rebounder would be Rowan Vasco, who's averaging 5.1 rebounds, and he is 6'2". And that's the old saying that coaches like to bring up when they know they're going to be outside. It's going to be heart over height today for Lowell if they want to limit the second chance opportunities and generate some themselves. We will step aside and we'll come back with the weather for this evening and then the national anthem and starting lineups from Valparaiso High School as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you heard? Strack Van Til was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Strack Van Til.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
The Tuesday night forecast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast is 10 degrees, feels like 1. And that Tuesday night forecast is brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. It's now time to rise for the national anthem.
And now we ask that you please stand as you're able as we honor America and all those who protect and defend our freedoms with the playing of our national anthem by the VHS Band.
National anthem performed by the Valparaiso Band as we're about to hear the starting lineups for the two teams tonight. As we'll give you the starting lineup for the Lowell Red Devils. It'll be the senior Braden Spearson with Rowan Vasco. And then it's Aiden Hernandez, Cass Hedgnowski, and Ezra Rumesic. They are coached by Joseph Delgado, who has been in this role of head coach with the Lowell Red Devils since 2014. And despite Lowell getting off to their slow start, he says this team is willing to fight, and they're going to have to bring the gloves out tonight. They're going to get a win against Valparaiso, as this series has been heavily one-sided. The Vikings have won 9 straight matchups against Lowell. Lowell's last win, you have to go back to December 2015. So over 10 years ago, Lowell is 0-6 in this gym. They've never won in Valparaiso. This is the hype video for the Valparaiso Vikings. Starting lineup for the Valparaiso Vikings as they are coached by third-year head coach Ben Liskey. Levon Redmond, a senior who's averaging 8.3 points, to be J.J. Jankowski, who is a fourth-year generational Vikings basketball player. And then the lethal shooter, that is Michael Reeves. And then the two men that we talked about in the front court, Maddox Wagner and Corbin McConaughey. As we said, this Vikings team has started to find an identity, and that's their defense being the catalyst for their last few wins. And going into last Friday, 3 teams in the DAC had started off 0-2, that being LaPorte, Valpo, and Maryville. And with the Vikings getting the win over LC, and a really good game last night in LaPorte between Michigan City and the Slicers. The Slicers got the win. Only one team in the DAC has yet to have a conference win, that being the Maryville Pirates, the team that the Vikings will be seeing on Fridays. As we get ready for the opening tip, it'll be Ryan Vasco jumping for Lowell, and Corbin McConaughey, the 6'9 senior, jumping for Valparaiso. Decent crowd on hand attending tonight's matchup on another chilly day in Northwest Indiana. And the tip is won by the Vikings. Possession arrow will go to the Lowell Red Devils. Lowell coming out in a man. Wagner trying to get to the post. Back to the wing with Redmond. Went back to the post. Wagner on the left block. Finds a cutting Jankowski, and Jankowski finishes with the right hand. Nice patient possession. Jankowski recognizing the hole in the defense, and a good find by Maddox Wagner. With that size, it looks as though Valparaiso is going to play down on the block. It's a good feed down low to Aiden Hernandez, who lost the ball. It'll be an unforced turnover by the Red Devils. Redmond bringing up the ball, the point guard for this Vikings team. McConaughey in the post, and McConaughey muscles through Ramesic. McConaughey had 6 points in their win against LC with 13 rebounds, a couple of steals, and a couple of blocks. He stepped up huge for the Vikings. Good play by Lowell. It was a point-blank shot that was missed. Ball being tossed back in by Hedgnowski, who had missed the shot, and the Vikings have the numbers. There'll be a foul before Jankowski could enter the lane. Now go on Vasco. First foul for either side. Goes without being said, that's the first foul on Vasco. McConaughey got the inbound and dribbled it off his own foot. Lowell catches a break. They've had a couple of good opportunities down low. They've lost the ball and then missed a point-blank shot. Can't miss too many of those against this Vikings team. Ramesic, a lot of dribbling. Goes back to the top with Vasco. Vasco between the legs. A lot of isolation for Lowell right now. Not a whole lot of movement offensively. Ramesic, leading scorer for the Red Devils. Goes to a crossover and with the left hand finishes over McConaughey. Gets Lowell on the board. Cuts the early Vikings lead in half. Reeves, McConaughey. This is Wagner. To McConaughey. Power dribble. Left it for Wagner, and the ball deflected away by Spearson. Sometimes there's a such thing as too much passing. Pass it to the corner. Here's a three, and it's a miss. Spearson couldn't make the Vikings defense pay. As we said in the pregame show, this Lowell team has struggled to shoot from behind the arc this season. Just 25%. And then their last game against KV, 4 for 23. They want to beat this Vikings team. They're going to hit some threes. Hernandez to the wing. Ramesic dribbles it to the top of the key. McConaughey following him. Bit unusual to see the Vikings running man instead of zone that they're well known for, and that'll be a 5-second call. There's now a whole lot of movement being generated by Lowell in the last couple of offensive possessions. Playing right into the hands of the Vikings. Who had LC to just 26% from the field in their win. 11 for 42 overall for the Indians. Tough, tenacious defense. To the top, Reeves, runner, left it short. McConaughey gets the rebound, and he was grabbed on the arm.
Lowell fouls on number 0, Braden Spearson, his first, team second.
It's on Spearson. Got to find a way to push those big men out, Wagner and McConaughey. Jankowski, bad pass deflected right back to him. Reeves from downtown. He misses his first shot attempt. Remesek brings up the ball. A cat-mouse game to start off this contest. Bad pass off the foot of McConaughey. He wasn't expecting that. Vasco recovered the ball. Now it's stolen away by the Vikings as Jankowski with the head fake, but they call him for a travel. Wave off the bucket and keep it at a 4-2 score. Valparaiso deploying a loose press. Redmond guarding Hernandez. Hernandez leading the team in assists this year, but he went 0 for 5 from 3 as he went scoreless against the Cougars. And a hold called on Redmond. First foul on the Vikings. Halfway through the first. The Red Devils defense has started off well. A couple of empty of possessions for Valpo. But Lowell looking to go on the run here. Tough defense from Janikowski, not making it easy for Lowell. Remesek gets the screen. Wagner picks him up. He finds a cutting man. It's a finish by Spearson. Those two combined for 32 points in their last game. Redmond crossover, tosses it up, and he is hit. Levon Redmond going to the line for 2.
Hernandez, his first, team's third. Levon Redmond's at the line, shooting 2 for the Vikings.
Redmond, a 60% free throw shooter. Does a little bit of everything for this team. He facilitates getting the fast breaks, and he can score in bunches. Saw him have a big game earlier this year against 21st Century. Redmond goes 2 for 2. And in that game, Redmond, despite the fact he's only 5'10", he was getting to the lane. He's a fearless sort of scorer. Comes down to his agility, his ball handling, his ability to see the floor. Ball went into the post for Lowell, and it was closed off as Wider comes over and steals the bounce pass. Redmond passing to the corner. Reeves is dangerous from there. Wagner on the wing, gets ahead of steam, tosses it up with the left hand. It rolls off. And like a pinball, it ends up in the hands of Redmond, and Redmond generates contact again. It's on Vasco. His second and the fourth on Lowell. The Vikings will be in the bonus for the rest of this first quarter. And there's still about 3 minutes to go. See our first substitution of the game. Davon Williams runs in for Corbin McConaughey. And with Vasco being in foul trouble, Ty Fredrickson, a senior, is entering for Lowell. Redmond now 4 for 4 at the line in this first quarter. As Williams, a 3-and-D guy for Valparaiso, playing some tough defense in this press. Lowell breaks it, 3-on-1. Fredrickson back out. Hernandez inside the line. He misses the shot. Runs in, tipped the ball away, and Jankowski grabbed him. Second foul on Valparaiso. And the freshman Nikola Kairos subs in for Levon Redmond. Good hustle by Hernandez to chase after his own miss, to generate that foul. Deep three coming up, and it is short. And the ball rolls out. They're going to say it was last touched by Valparaiso. Low-scoring first quarter, just 8-4. That plays right into the hands of the Vikings with their tenacious defense. Holding teams to low-scoring margins in their last two games. Fredrickson being double-teamed. Got it to Hernandez, back to Fredrickson. And there's Kyrus, as he thought he had a steal, but he made contact with Fredrickson. A gamble by the freshman. And leads to the third foul on Valparaiso. So one more to give in this first quarter. For Ben Liskey, the head coach of Valparaiso, is not afraid to go into his bench. Seeing about a full line change, getting close to the end of the first quarter, as Johnny Klump has come in. Long possession for Lowell on this side. Remesic went baseline. Hernandez leaves it. Ball tipped away. Remesic recovers it in the corner. Ball being swung around the perimeter. Lowell moving the ball well, but Valparaiso sticking with them. And Fredrickson created some space, and Davon Williams got him on the right arm. Moving the ball, patience. And it leads to the fourth foul on Valparaiso and some free throws for Ty Fredrickson, who's been good at the line this year, shooting 80%. First one left short. One for two is Fredrickson. Under 2 minutes to go. Just a 3-point game. Both teams have not cracked double digits thus far. Jankowski head fake, pulls up from the left elbow, and his shot's off the mark. Kyrus recovered the rebound, and his toss-up goes off, and Kyrus is called for his second foul. That's the fifth one on Valparaiso, and this will lead to Lowell entering the bonus and shooting free throws. Two aggressive fouls by Kyrus, but that was a foul being made at half court, well away from the basket. That's the one thing about being a freshman. The IQ will develop along with the physical aspects of Kyrus' game. As he was the first freshman in recent Valpo history to get some serious playing time. Outside of Jack Smiley, now playing D1 basketball. Jankowski, crossover. Kyrus cutting to the lane, and Kyrus finishes. Went amongst the tall trees, Nikola Kyrus. He's listed at 5'8", but no fear from the freshman. Back to a 5-point game. Hernandez, bad pass. Klump the steal. Numbers. Jankowski gets bumped, and he puts it down. 3-point play for number 3. As we get a look at the on-site Generator Solutions replay. The turnover, get the pass. Jankowski generates the contact. Excellent body control. And the sophomore, who's just a tick under 10 points per game, now up to 4 points with a chance to get up to 5. And he misses the free throw. 7-point game. Both teams in the bonus for the last 70 seconds. Spearson dribbling to his left. Jankowski with them. Fredrickson traveled. Bad turnover for the Red Devils, as Valparaiso has an opportunity to add on to their lead. We talked about how three-point shooting has been a struggle for Lowell. Turnovers have also been a large aspect of their game that they would love to fix. Coming in averaging 18.5 turnovers as a team. Klump taking it himself. His shot goes wide, and they're calling a foul down low. And they put that on Michael Reeves. So we're going to walk the length of the floor to get to the other free throw line. As Gavin Gudgel will shoot these free throws for Lowell. Decent amount of free throws here in this first quarter. And for Gudgel, he's only shot 3 free throws this year. That was his 4th. He's now 1 for 4. As Gudgel did not play in the last game against KV. But with Rowan Vasco getting into foul trouble, we're going to see the Red Devils go into their bench early. Going 1 for 2 is Gudgel. 6-point game, 45 seconds. Redmond has entered back. Picked up his dribble. McConaughey, top of the key. Hands it off to Reeves. Reeves to Klump. Klump closed off. 3 from Williams. His shot's off. And they call a hold on Davon Williams. A lot of fouls on Valparaiso in this first quarter. For Williams, that's his 2nd. And Williams really turned into a pretty reliable 6th man for the Vikings with his 3-and-D play. Shoot from downtown and play good defense on the other side. As it's, once again, Gavin Gudgel going to the line. Gudgel splits them, and we're going to go the other way for more free throws. These players certainly getting their steps in this first quarter. Davon Williams, who committed the foul to allow Lowell to shoot those free throws, gets fouled this time. Williams, 66% free throw shooter this year. Nailed 3 threes against Michigan City. We walked away with 13 points. Williams goes 2 for 2. That's been the aspect of his game that's really developed this year is Williams' three-point shooting ability, getting that shooter's touch. After he stepped away from the game of basketball for a short while and came back. And the Vikings fans and head coach Ben Liskey have certainly been impressed with Williams as he'll go to the bench with his 2 fouls. Bad pass. Klump comes up with it. Klump going up with the left hand. He misses, and the mess is cleaned up by Braden Waters. 9-point game. Looking like this could be the final possession of the first quarter. Remesic gets Redmond in the air. Remesic with the 3-point play. McConaughey called for the foul. Remesic gets Redmond in the air, goes around him, and finishes the 3-point play. Valparaiso will get one more shot, and Redmond is rejected. A fun first quarter, a lot of free throws, but it's starting to open up there at the end as it's a 6-point lead for the Vikings. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work, you're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
You're watching Region Sports Network coverage of high school boys basketball on youtube.com/Region Sports, facebook.com/Region Sports Nation, and regionsports.com. Andrew Mile joining you from Valparaiso High School as the Vikings lead by 6 coming out of the break. Remesic and one play to close out the first quarter, and Wagner ripped the ball away from him and saved it in a shortstop-like throw before falling into his own bench. Bounce pass, shot missed. Jankowski couldn't finish around the defenders. Catch and shoot 3, off to the right. Ooh, tough miss for Vasco, who just came off the bench after he picked up 2 fouls in that first quarter. Jankowski, tough pass. McConaughey able to reel it in. McConaughey doesn't like it. They'll reset the offense. McConaughey in the post, left hand, and McConaughey with the left hook puts it in. 8-point game. Lowell trying to get on the right side of a result tonight. Snap the 6-game skid they're currently on. They're fighting with this Valpo team in a hostile environment. Hernandez passes it into the corner. No shot for Vasco. And the ball is lost. Reeves picks up the loose chains and blows the layup.
Timeout Lowell, 30 seconds.
And Lowell wants to take a 30-second timeout to talk about it. There's a few times now where they had the right idea, but miscommunication or for there is Braden Spearson losing the ball. You have to give credit to Lowell for hustling down the floor and making sure that it wasn't an easy layup for Michael Reeves. But they had to clean up those turnovers. And they had some free throw opportunities in that first quarter, and I would say they split them evenly. So there was chances after some early sloppy play from Valparaiso for Lowell to capitalize, but they never did. The Vikings been able to reap in their awards from the Lowell turnovers. Make them pay for those. As Lowell, they're on the wrong side of a 6-game losing streak, but for Valparaiso, they're trying to go on their first 3-game winning streak this year. Get to 10-7 before their next conference game against Maryville on Friday. Valparaiso implementing their zone here. And that was an awkward bounce pass. Somehow led to a shot from Spearson. He missed it. 0 versus 0 here. Redmond around Spearson. Corner 3 from Reeves, and he can't find the bottom of the bucket. Ball being tipped around. It's off a leg, and it's off one of the Lowell defenders. Looked like it was on Vasco's leg. So once again, it's the fearlessness of Levon Redmond generating another look for Valpo, and they're going to call a hold. Remesic grabbed the waist of McConaughey. And that's the first on the junior wing. Big, lengthy kid. Really become the star of this Lowell basketball program. Wagner brought in the inbounds pass, and Vikings want to call a new play here. Pick and roll. Redmond went to Wagner. Wagner lost it. 2-on-2 and a foul as Vasco elevated like he wanted to dunk it, and Wagner fouled him. It's the first on Maddox Wagner and the first on the Vikings in this second quarter. Vasco misses the first one. Vasco has been a player that Lowell has relied on in the early parts of the year. but he struggled in his last 3 games. He averages 10 points on the year, which is 6 points in the last 3, as he's become inefficient as he just went 0 for 2 at the line, shooting 6 for 27, and then 3 for 15 from behind the arc. If Lowell wants to win some conference games, game later into the season, they're going to need Vasco. Then easy take for Corbin McConaughey. As he went around the defenders and couldn't believe how wide open he was. Remesic lost the ball and then threw it off of Wagner. And a steal from Hernandez. His runner won't find the bottom of the cup. Redmond behind the back. He's going coast to coast. What a take by LaVon Redmond. This makes it a 12-point game. That was impressive. Recovering the loose ball. A couple of ball handling moves and get right to the lane. Step back 3. Vasco hits the top of the basket. And a transition take missed. And a foul being called late is J.J. Jankowski. Will set up at the charity stripe. It's on Vasco. And he has 3 fouls already. 2 Lowell Devils await to come into the game. And you have to assume one of them is for Vasco. Now 3 Red Devils. Lucas Brady is in. And Kevin Gudgel, who shot a pair of free throws. Going 1 for 2 is Jankowski. 13-point game. 4.5 minutes to go. Thank you for joining us on the Region Sports Network. Hopefully you're staying warm wherever you're at on this Tuesday. Hernandez went from one side to the other. Sends it back to the top. And a rejection by Maddox Wagner. Redmond does not have the numbers, and a jump ball will be called, and the arrow currently belongs to the Vikings. Landon O'Halleck will get his first minutes. A 6'7" senior. Height advantage going towards Valparaiso in this game. Redmond from downtown. No. Redmond runs in and gets his own rebound. A hustle play by the senior guard. Missed the shot, run in, no one boxed him out. And that will drive an opposing coach crazy. But I know for Ben Liskey, he's smiling. That's what he wants to see from his team. They set up for the 3, and Spearson clanks it off the rim. Toss up and out of control, but Lucas Brady is on the board. And Reeves wide open, and Reeves responds with a layup of his own. Somebody lost their man. The Vikings wasted no time after the make from Brady. Spearson going with the right hand, spin at the elbow, kick it out. 3 from the wing. It's another miss for Lowell, as they are ice cold from downtown. 15-point game. Reeves from behind the line. 15-point game, 3 minutes to go. Hernandez goes into the chest of Jankowski, and a Lowell turnover. That is a travel.
And number 10, Ty Fredrickson, entering the game for the Vikings is number 20, Johnny Clumpy.
You're seeing how the Vikings have been able to win their last 2 games. Good defense, and then once they force a miss or a turnover, they start running out and transition, and you've really seen this chemistry of this Vikings team develop as the year has gone along. They've had a turnaround of players the last few years. Pick and pop. Wagner misses the 3. It's off the back iron. See more man-to-man than usual when watching this Vikings team. Lowell will get a 3rd opportunity here. Brady, Hedgenowski. Hedgenowski loses it, picks it back up off the hardwood. Brady with the hot pink shoes leaves it at the top of the perimeter. Height advantage favoring Valparaiso, and Ohalik forces a miss. Jankowski, wild shot, won't go down, but it will go down for Maddox Wagner. It's a 17-point game. Lowell's had a hard time getting into the interior, into the teeth, if you will, of the Vikings defense. And they have yet to hit a three. Only three they hit was the old-fashioned one from Ramesic to close out the first quarter. 90 seconds to go. To leave down on the post, and Wagner rejects the shot. McConaughey runs out back on the floor. And McConaughey and Wagner have created some problems for Lowell. It's Wagner now a couple of blocks in the second quarter alone. Vikings fans happy how this second quarter has gone. Mid-range jumper is left short off the left side of the iron. 70 seconds. Klump back in the game. Reeves. Jankowski. Jankowski directing traffic. He wants to set it up for McConaughey in the post. McConaughey in that short corner. He's in the paint. Turns around. His baby hook won't fill in the cup. The Vikings have lived in the post, and a travel will be called. Fredrickson went for the jump stop, and his feet went out from underneath him. Redmond been very impressive this second quarter, made some good plays. Will replace Jankowski for the last 42 seconds of this second quarter. Don't forget, we have a Commissioner's Corner after this. We'll talk about the first half and get you ready for the second half once the second quarter comes to a close. Good cut from Klump, a good find from Redmond, and it'll lead to free throws.
Lowell fouls on number 15, Captain Goodler his first, team's third. Johnny Klumping on the line, shooting two for the Vikings.
Klump averaging just over 1 point this season. At the line is 75% free throw shooter. And that made free throws now an 18-point lead for the Vikings as they have dominated the second quarter, holding Lowell to just 2 points. Klump 1 for 2. It's been a 14-2 run for the Vikings in the second quarter. Does Lowell have any sort of answer to close out this first half in a non-conference matchup here in late January? Bradley Cox traveled. Way too many turnovers for the liking of Joseph Delgado and the Lowell Red Devils. A good amount of them have been unforced or a mental error, whereas a miscommunication, they just threw it blindly and no one was there except for a Vikings defender. 3 seconds, and Redmond, now it's his turn to have an unforced turnover as he travels. .8 seconds left in the first half. Long enough for one final heave for Lowell. In the hands of Brady. Brady won't come close, and the first half comes to an end as the Lowell Red Devils on the wrong side of a 14-2 second quarter as the Vikings run to their gym, smiles on their faces, 16 minutes away from their third straight win. We'll have a Commissioner's Corner for you, and we'll see you after this break as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Welcome into our weekly conversation with the Commissioner. It's the Commissioner's Corner with Paul Neidig. I'm Brendan King. Paul, busy time of year, including this weekend with the girls wrestling state finals coming up at the Coliseum over at the fairgrounds, January 16th. And Paul, what can you say about girls wrestling and how that sport continues to emerge and grow?
Well, first of all, the growth is, we knew once we developed a platform within our system for new sports to come on board and grow and give student athletes additional opportunities, that girls wrestling would quickly rise to the front. And when we did this several years ago, it took just 2 short years for girls wrestling to go from emerging, they weren't even in our system, to a fully recognized state championship sport. And we just have continued to see growth in girls sports and our girls wrestling, and we're excited about that. And I think we're right around the corner. And maybe this coming Friday, we'll see another girl that wins the state championship that will move on to great things on the Olympic level, like other girls in the state of Indiana have done. And so we're really excited about that platform, that opportunity for these girls to show what they love, and that's wrestling.
You and I have talked a lot about emerging sports, whether that's, girls flag football, girls lacrosse, wrestling, as you said, with that quick path. The process of emerging sports and building them and growing them for your team, what can you say about the significance of that and the process of it to get to this point, like you said?
Well, I think it's important. We're all about opportunity for students. And, we want to provide as many opportunities as we can. And that we had our rules, the way they were originally written, probably was not going to be an opportunity for another sport to come on. And so 4 years ago now, we took on that task to look at those rules and we made some adjustments, and we've seen now additional opportunities. So that 160,000 student athletes that we serve on an annual basis is going to grow because of additional opportunities. And that's something that we're very excited about.
Girls basketball pairing show coming up in about a week and a half. Hard to believe. And then the boys will follow shortly after for basketball. So, hey, it's a great time of year. It's a busy time of year for you guys. Swimming and diving is going to be coming up in less than a month. I feel like February is a big underrated month for you guys that's packed with just tons of power. Yeah, February just it really obviously this coming Friday with girls wrestling kicks off our tournament season for the winter, but February, certainly every weekend we've got something going on. And it's an opportunity to follow your school. You can go to ihsaa.org and get all of our tournament information and see where your team is playing, and get out and watch those student athletes, because it's still pure, it's still homegrown. It's still kids that are going to go back and contribute to their communities, participating in high school sports. And I would just encourage people to get out there and watch these students. They've been practicing their skill all fall and all winter, and now it's time for them to put it on the line for a potential berth in the state championship venue. Last thing, we were talking last week about your time at the Rose Bowl and getting to watch Indiana and meeting with your colleagues across the country. Well, since that point, Indiana has punched their ticket in the national championship game, Indiana football. And, I know that you guys partner with the Colts and you guys partner with all kinds of professional organizations around the state. But, when, Indiana University is in the national championship for football, and I know a lot of folks down in Bloomington, what does that mean for you as a guy that grew up in this state as well? Well, it's certainly the spotlight on what we know is a wonderful state. Our collegiates, all of our colleges, we're rich in colleges here in the state of Indiana. And, but this time we stepped that aside and we're going to root for one. And, it's these Hoosiers have really caught Indiana by storm, and really a national audience, and we're excited about that. And I know Scott Dolson and Coach Zanetti has worked hard to bring Indiana football and Indiana University to the forefront, and I'm excited for both of those individuals and again the student athletes that get to participate at Indiana University. And I'm going to be tuning in next Monday night, rooting on those Hoosiers. Paul Neidig, he's the commissioner of the IHSAA. It's the Commissioner's Corner. Paul, always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next week. All right, Brendan. Hey, thank you for doing what you do for the student athletes in this great state.
Thanks for listening to the Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, and thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Calling all current and future homeowners in the Northwest Indiana area. Whether you're buying or selling, Brent Wright is here to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. With years of experience, personalized service, and a deep knowledge of the market, Brent will help you find the perfect place or get the best deal for your property. Call today at 219-406-7195 and take the first step toward your real estate goals. Contact Brent Wright, the right way to buy and sell real estate.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
We are back from Valparaiso High School. Andrew Mile joining you on the Region Sports Network. The Vikings lead by 18. And in that first half, it was a bit of everyone from the Vikings really contributing. But the player that really stood out was Levon Redmond, as he had some hustle plays, even going coast to coast after a steal from the Vikings, and had a hustle play after a missed three. And as we talked about in the pregame show, the height advantage was going to be a real problem for Lowell, especially when you have the trees as Maddox Wagner and Corbin McConaughey. And we saw a lot of second chance looks for Valpo, and Lowell's inability to get down low and score. And when you struggle from behind the three-point line as Lowell has, that's really been their only answer offensively this season. And with the amount of fouls we saw and free throws shot for the Vikings, Lowell even had to take out their best scorer in Ezra Remesic, who had a decent first quarter and then headed out for the rest of the second quarter. And Lowell was only able to manage to score 2 points in the second quarter on a 14-2 Valparaiso run. So what do they need to do? They have to start hitting their shots. That's step one, is you got to score the rock if you want a chance to get back in this game against Valparaiso. And if you're the Vikings, just keep doing what you've been doing these last two games, as you're 16 minutes away from getting your third straight win, the first time this year where they'd reached 3-game winning streak. And it's always important when you're playing these midweek matchups to stay healthy as, of course, you have a conference game on Friday. That's what's most important, is winning a DAC championship before going in the sectionals. And this Vikings team, they're 1-2, but they have a chance to get back to sea level against Maryville on Friday. Well, they'll be on the road. Maryville, the only team in the DAC to have a losing record, and the only team remaining to not have a win in DAC play. As we return. But the DAC certainly has been a fun conference to watch in this 2025-2026 season. Portage has really been the standout team. Quick turnover for Lowell. They're undefeated. They wanted the buzzer against the Maryville Pirates. Crown Point, of course, been the talk of the region. And they're going to change the possession to Lowell. One of the referees came in from the sidelines and changed it, saying that a Valpo defender tipped it. Vasco will shoot it from the corner, and Vasco misses the three. He was awfully quiet in that first half. Crown Point had a big win last night against Chesterton. That was broadcasted on the Region Sports Network. A 20-point win for CP, where Dikembe Shaw, the UIC commit, scored over 30 points in the win. Redmond thought about shooting a three. Take his man on the dribble. McConaughey in the post is fouled before the shot.
All fouls on number 0, Braden Spearson, his second.
It'll be on Braden Spearson, his second. And last night we were here on the Region Sports Network in LaPorte, and that was a fun game between the Slicers and Michigan City. As the Wolves been a tough team, and Reeves was open for a three, and the reason for that was because of a illegal screen. It was on Maddox Wagner, his second. An offensive foul for the Vikings. As Lowell has gone a long time without scoring, and they'll continue to go on a scoreless run. One shot and a rebound by Valparaiso. Redmond getting close to the line, very dangerous. Hernandez tipped it away from him. It was regained. Good pass from Jankowski. And McConaughey will score from underneath the cup and give the Vikings their largest lead of 20. Michigan City's tough, and then LaPorte has some really good players, especially Ott Large. If you haven't checked him out, watch him. Mightily impressive player that can do everything, who's only a junior. Have another year of eligibility, and interesting to see where he ends up D1. Of course, Chesterton has come out, and they've been a really good team. Valparaiso ends up with the steal. Jankowski, Redmond, head fake to the wing. Jankowski finds Wagner. Redmond, overhead pass. And 3 seconds in the lane on Corbin McConaughey. Turnover from Valparaiso. And that Chesterton team's been led by Logan Picorni and TJ Ray, their point guard. After the 2 star players graduated a few years ago, Picorni has really stepped up, and he's been a fun player to watch. Any team across the board in the DAC, you'll see a star player. Even for Maryville, with Charles Hardiman, who's the leading scorer of the DAC. 20-point game, under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lowell, with the duration of the second quarter, only scoring 2 points, and they're scoreless still here in the third. And Remesic now with a couple turnovers in the third quarter. Vikings are running. Jankowski misses the layup, and it's out of bounds on Valparaiso. One more big scoring run from the Vikings, and they could get a running clock. It's at 35 in the second half. Right now it's a 20-point game. The Red Devils have been stuck at 12. Ball going around the perimeter. Vasco gets a screen, shoots a three, and it's off to the right. Tough night shooting-wise for Lowell, and Jankowski steps through the defense and finishes at the cup. And Lowell will take a 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here. Getting closer to playoff basketball. Girls basketball tournament starts next week. And then the boys tournament starting pretty soon. You can catch all the action here on the Region Sports Network. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can even set up the live notifications so whenever a game goes on, you'd be the first to be notified. After 25 years, we're proud to still be the only game in town. That's a quick timeout for Lowell. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. Busy couple of days for the Region Sports Network. 3 games yesterday, the boys and girls game at Crown Point Chesterton and Michigan City LaPorte. That game was a makeup from last Friday. All this chilly weather. Certainly gotten into that basketball weather, if you will. Let's get past the other side. Hernandez. Hejnowski getting double teamed. There's the zone from the Vikings. They're going to force Lowell to shoot it. Spearson from downtown, and splash! Braden Spearson up to 5 points after hitting the trifecta. McConaughey. Call for travel. McConaughey currently the leading scorer for the Vikings as he has 8 points on the night. Him and Levon Redmond both sitting at 8. Lowell finally cracked the scoreboard after a long run. And a foul on Redmond. Tried to jump the handoff and made contact with one of the Red Devils. It's a third on Levon Redmond. Even some of the fouls from the Vikings have been aggressive fouls, which you'll certainly take. The gamble every once in a while and see if you can generate an easy offensive look. A few times now where a Viking thought he had a steal, but made some sort of contact with a Lowell player. Remesic, Spearson, who just hit the 3. Vasco by the free throw line. Remesic against Wagner. Jankowski went to blitz for the steal. Remesic recovers it. Vasco, and he has a 3. Back-to-back tray balls for Lowell. Just starting to find the mark from downtown. 16-point game. A couple more of those. Wagner in the post. Reeves in the corner. He likes it out there. The swing man for the Vikings. Wagner, bad pass, somehow finds its way to Redmond. Reeves, right corner, and Reeves responds with his own 3. And a timeout by Liskey and the Vikings. It'll be just a quick 30-second timeout. We'll stay here. 19-point game. We didn't see any 3s hit in that first half, and all of a sudden we've seen 3 hit, 2 from Lowell and 1 from the Vikings. As Michael Reeves, he had 4 threes last year against the Red Devils, and the Vikings win their 9th in a row against Lowell. And the Vikings would love to see Reeves get going. And he's what you would call a microwave sort of scorer. He scores in bunches. Once he finds that touch and that timing in his jump shot, he's hard to stop. Earlier this year, they were playing Penn, and he had himself a 12-0 run to try and cut into the Kingsman lead. Penn would go on to win that game here in Valpo. Long day at this floor, the triple header. Freshman, JV, and varsity to close it out. Last couple of possessions have ended in 3 balls for Lowell. Vasco hit the most recent one. Hernandez. Vasco. Remesic. Man-to-man here from Valparaiso. Getting away from that zone. Then mostly man, and then they'll throw a surprise hook, if you will, with the zone. Hernandez, spin move, went to the post as Hejnowski was in a battle for position with Davon Williams, and Davon Williams has 3 fouls on him now. And that was the last one to give for Valparaiso, as there's 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Next one, and Lowell will be shooting free throws. Wagner tips the ball out of bounds. Wagner just 2 points on the night. But everyone's eating for the Vikings. Vasco's 3 is clanking off the back iron. Kyrus is in the game. Wagner, skip pass, Reeves with his second straight 3. A corner specialist, Michael Reeves, ballooning the Vikings lead to 22. Kyrus sticking with Hernandez. Remisic just dribbling, no movement. He'll just have to take Wagner one-on-one. And Wagner came down. Remisic drawing contact. And the leading scorer for the Red Devils will go to the line. And that puts Lowell in the bonus. We were talking about the Vikings getting ready for their next game against Maryville. The next one for Lowell is not going to be any easier, as they'll be facing off against Munster on Friday in Lowell. But Munster, they're 3-0 to start NCC play. Going up against one of the few teams still left undefeated in conference play. Remesic goes 1 for 2 at the line. Vikings lead by 21. Williams. Reeves, can he make it 3 in a row? He can! Michael Reeves is in fuego. 9 straight points for the senior. 24-point lead for the hometown Vikings. Messick, good head fake, enters the lane, and with a long drag step, created some space and kissed it off the glass. 75 seconds. Klump on the left block. Williams, Reeves, back to Williams. McConaughey, Reeves thought about it. Williams will pull the trigger, and he's got it! It's raining threes for the Vikings. 12 points on 4 straight threes. Vasco gets a straightaway trifecta to fall. It's starting to look like a 3-point shooting contest. Reeves can't make it 4 in a row. That would have been 5 in a row for the Vikings as a team. Vasco, Remesic, baseline, spin move on the block, fall away shot, no. Williams clears the rebound. He'll take it up himself. He'll settle for a 3. Off to the right. Getting into the final seconds of the third quarter. Vasco gets a screen. Bad pass. Kyrus has it, and he's tangled up with Spearson. Jump ball, and it's belonging to Valpo. Enough time for a heave for Valpo. Kyrus had to pick it up early. Corner. Reeves throws it up, and he can't get the roll. But the Vikings build on their lead. They'll go into the fourth quarter up 22. We're going to take a break as you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When it comes to your money, you deserve more than just numbers on a page. You deserve someone who sees the full picture. Meet Mark Macknick. one of Northwest Indiana's most trusted accounting professionals. Whether you're running a business, planning for retirement, or just trying to make sense of tax season, Mark Machnick, located in Highland, makes it simple, personal, and believe it or not, painless. Contact Mark and his team today at 219-595-5290. Mark Machnick, CPA.
Located in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oilfield and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
As we enter the fourth quarter here on the Region Sports Network, we like to remind you at the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Crown Company's Lantern Man superhero of the game. Crown Company's the insurance professionals. Spearson from the left corner. It spits itself out. A wrestle for the ball. Codgel came up with it. Another three coming up. That one's off the mark as well. The Vikings finally go the other way. Reiner got a bad pass, saved it. McConaughey with 8 points runs into Codgel. It looked like a brick wall there and went to the ground. It's a travel. We have the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. And a proud to be Union Play of the Game. And that is sponsored by Ironworkers Local 395. Vikings up 22, but their defense still tough and resilient. And Jankowski, bad pass as there was a no-looker with some mustard on it. No chance for McConaughey to bring it in. Right now the leading scorer for the Vikings is Michael Reeves as he drilled 3 straight threes in the third quarter. In that third quarter, it was again the Vikings leading the scoring column 16-12. As Lowell entered the third quarter with just 12 points, they were able to double their total after they only scored 2 points the entire second. Second game in a row where they struggled to score in the second quarter. Out of bounds, they'll stay here. Against KV, they had just 3 points in the second quarter. They can't go on long scoring droughts like that, especially with Munster coming up on Friday, a team that has been the top of the NCC. Pick and roll, a runner off the iron as it rolls off the rim. 6.5 minutes to go. Redmond got the pass, went down the floor, and finishes. Fearless Levon Redmond. As he's entered double digits in the scoring column, he's at 10 on the night. Vikings 6 minutes away from keeping 3 straight teams under 40 points as it's another deterred shot. Redmond going coast to coast again. This time it won't fall. Under 6 minutes. Spearson taking Reeves off the dribble. Dribbled into McConaughey with that help defense. And they're going to settle for a trifecta. It rolls off. That side spin, and it spit itself back out. The hold called below the basket. It's on McConaughey. His second and the first on the Vikings. And Nicola Kairis will come in, and a timeout Lowell. It'll be a full timeout, and while they talk about it, we'll take a 30-second break. If you're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
On-Site Generator Solutions is a locally owned and operated power partner for Northwest Indiana homes. With over 14 years of experience, they handle tasks such as generators, residential electric, plumbing, automotive care, and more. You can find them on Facebook Give them a call at 219-516-6800 or search them up on the web at onsitegeneratorsolutions.com. On-Site Generator Solutions. Power you could count on every time, everywhere.
The secret to making life better is found at Duffy's Place in Valparaiso, Indiana. Duffy's Place is open 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. daily with delicious beverages and great tasting food. The staff at Duffy's Place loves what they do and they love their customers. If you want some choices of great food including wings, burgers, pierogies, great live music, and great people in both the staff and customers, this is the place for you. Stop in for a bite and watch your favorite hometown team, Duffy's Place in Valparaiso.
Welcome back. Final 5.5 minutes and a turnover on the inbound as Vasco slipped to the floor. Kyrus misses the shot in the lane, and it'll be Maddox Wagner going to the line for an and one play. Wagner, despite him only having 4 points with a chance to have 5, seems a night for the Vikings to see other guys also score and gain some confidence before their game on Friday against Maryville. Wagner finishes the three-point play, but Wagner was more passive tonight. As you look at the points for the Vikings, it's evenly dispersed, I would say. So they've had 3 players scoring double digits. Levon Redmond, Michael Reeves, and Corbin McConaughey. Vasco cannot get around Maddox Wagner, and they're going to call a foul on Wagner for coming down. And that's the 4th on Maddox Wagner. Redmond and William coming in. Wagner and Reeves going out. Lowell at this point run some set plays from Essek for a straightaway 3, and it's nothing but nylon. 24-point game. This was going to be a tough game regardless for Lowell. Catching Valparaiso on the road during a 6-game losing streak. McConaughey misses the baby hook. But now you guys escape here healthy. Get ready for Munster. And see if you can snap this losing streak and get in the win column in conference play. You're only going to get better from a game like this against the Vikings, especially on the road. Vikings have played well at home this season, 5-3. They've had a tough schedule themselves. Missed shot by Aiden Hernandez. And Redmond went from one side to the other and gets fouled by the basket. Levon Redmond to the line. We were talking about it for the Vikings. They were 7-7 before this recent winning streak, 0-2 in conference play. Again, their schedule is awfully tough. They scheduled some really good teams at the beginning of the season. And you're starting to see that hard work pay off. Spearson will go out. Lucas Brady coming in. And I was talking about it yesterday when talking about the Michigan City team. The talent is there. There's no doubt about it. It was just finding that identity. What type of team do we want to be, and how are we going to win? And the Vikings have certainly found that. Their defense has been exceptional, and they can score in a lot of different ways. They can score in the post, the mid-range, and, of course, they have some really good shooters. A lot of guys shooting in the 30% range, and you'll gladly take that. The biggest issue for the Vikings would be their turnovers. Vasco finds the bottom of the bucket. Vasco is having a good bounce-back game. we said it earlier, some inefficient nights for Vasco. And if he can start hitting threes, that will be a big help for Lowell. Kyrus heaved it from the right corner, and it sailed over the rim. Landon O'Halleck been announced into the game. 23-point game with 3 minutes to go. We have some awards to hand out, some thank yous at the conclusion of tonight's broadcast. Redmond, Jankowski, legal screen. And that's on Davon Williams. Williams has 4 fouls. Lowell full timeout. 30-second break coming your way. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
You're watching Region Sports Network coverage of high school boys basketball on youtube.com/Region Sports, facebook.com/Region Sports Nation, and regionsports.com. Angel Mile from Valparaiso High School going into the final 3 minutes of the game as Joseph Delgado, head coach of the Red Devils, wanted to have a full timeout, talk to his team, and make these last 3 minutes meaningful. You don't want to just sit back, relax, and let this game run out on you. Might as well go out there, make the trip worthwhile. Get yourself better for these final 3 minutes. Remesic, tough mid-range, highly contested, missed it, and running it down is Hedgenowski. Top of the key 3, and it's drained by Aiden Hernandez. Went 0 for 5 from 3 in the last game. That's his first made 3 in nearly a calendar month. His last made 3 was on December 29th against East Chicago. He was 0 for his last 11. 20-point game. Valparaiso slowing it down. Not too much pressure from Lowell. Jankowski running baseline. Redmond open from downtown. No. O'Halleck runs it down. Jankowski trying his luck, and he fills up the cup. A 3 for number 3. J.J. Jankowski and Levon Redmond will go out as Ben Liskey is emptying out his bench. Braden Waters has come in, and the same for Johnny Klump. All the bench players for Valpo for this final minute and a half. Vasco, 3, can't find another one. Already had a few on the night. Kyrus. Waters. A few feet from the wing, and the floor must be getting slippery as we've seen now a few players hit the deck. And now Lowell is going to empty out their bench. 5 players has walked over to the scorer's table, and 2 Vikings will come in. For a couple of these players, this will be their first varsity minutes. Again, you want to walk away healthy. It would have been nice to get the win if you're a Lowell, but at the end of it, you're playing for a conference title. The PA announcer here at Valparaiso getting some work in, having to go through all those names that just checked in. Vikings trigger the play. Final 70 seconds. A take to the rim and a strong finish for Braden Hager. The junior is on the board. That's why you pick up the roster on the way in, folks, just in case something like this were to happen. "25 points, 40 seconds. And right after the game concludes, we'll go right into our post-game awards. As the Vikings are going to win their third game in a row and go to 10-7 on the year. That was the last foul to give for the Vikings, their fourth. Left hook, won't roll. As the Vikings are just going to dribble this one out. This will be a good time to go into our awards for tonight's game, as the Vikings will win by 25, a final total of 58-33. Vikings have now won 3 in a row. They're 10-7 on the year. The Lowell Red Devils have now gone 7 straight without winning, and they're 4-12 on the year. First up is the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Crowell Companies have offices open from 9 to 7 Monday through Friday, and Saturdays till 2 in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City. And in this game, I went with Corbin McConaughey. McConaughey did a lot of good things for the Vikings, scoring the ball, securing rebounds, playing good defense, and even getting his hands on the ball to give another Viking an opportunity to come up with the rebound. So all in all, McConaughey, the 6'9 senior, will be the Crowell Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Next up is the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game. Boilermakers Local 374. Learn about apprenticeship programs and more at local374.org. And we're going to go with Levon Redmond. Redmond is just the definition of a fearless guard. Despite him only being 5'10", he attacked the basket, drew some fouls, made some layups, and good things happen when your point guard can penetrate the lane and draw the attention off of the big guys. And that's what allowed McConaughey and Wagner to get some offensive rebounds themselves. And then our final award is a Proud to be Union Play of the Game. That is proudly sponsored by Ironworkers Local 395. Go to ironworkers395.com to start your future as a union iron worker. And the play that really stood out to me was from the junior Ezra Remesek, who got a head fake, got Redmond in the air, went past him, went into the chest of McConaughey, a 4-inch difference in favor of McConaughey, and he finished with the contact and went to the line for an and one play to give Lowell some momentum entering the second quarter. Well, that's going to do it here on the Region Sports Network. From our management, executive producer Chris Ramirez, our operations manager Rich Castillo, coordinating producer Zach Miller, that's Miller with 2 eyes, and the sports director Mike Dowan. Special thanks go out to Joe Delgado, the head coach of Lowell, and Ben Linsky at Valparaiso, and the athletic directors Patty McCormick at Lowell and Stacy Adams here at Valpo. Always a treat when we can come to Valparaiso High School to broadcast boys or girls basketball. And of course, to our viewers at Facebook/Region Sports Nation, YouTube/Region Sports, the IHSAA Champions Network, and regionsports.com. From our camera operator, Martin Murillo Jr., our producer, Zach Stanelli, I've been Andrew Mild. This has been Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374. Earn while you learn. IBEW Local 697. Proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4. The best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. The Right Group, the right way to buy and sell real estate. Mark Machnick, Chicagoland Tax Professionals. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.